Thank you, Travis. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin with a story from Brazil. The first round of voting in Brazil's presidential election has failed to yield an outright winner, leading to a runoff on October 30. Leftist Luiz Lula went into election day on Sunday as a projected frontrunner, with recent opinion polls giving him a commanding lead over far-right President Jair Bolsonaro and even a first-round victory. Lula, a former president credited with building an extensive social welfare program during his 8-year tenure starting in 2003, obtained 48.4% of valid votes, falling short of the overall majority he needed to avoid a runoff. For his part, Bolsonaro got 43.2% according to Brazil's electoral authority, significantly outperforming pollsters' predictions that saw him at a 14-point disadvantage. Bolsonaro received 6.1 million votes, fewer than his main opponent, but his Liberal Party will surpass Lula's Workers' Party to become the biggest in the Senate. The far-right Fireband's right-wing allies won 19 of the 27 seats up for grabs in the Senate, and initial returns suggested a strong showing for his base in the lower house, limiting Lula's room for the maneuver if he wins the presidency. Among the notable winners in the lower house were Bolsonaro's former health minister, a general who oversaw the pandemic's troubled management, and his former environment minister, who resigned in the midst of an investigation into whether he had aided the export of illegally cut timber from the Amazon. Over to news from Haiti. Haiti's government on Sunday announced that at least 8 people have died from cholera, raising concerns about the potentially fast-spreading scenario and reviving memories of an epidemic that killed nearly 10,000 people a decade ago. The cases, the first cholera deaths reported in 3 years, came in Port-au-Prince and in the gang-controlled seaside slum communities, where thousands of people live in cramped, unsanitary conditions. Cholera is something that can spread very quickly, warned Laure Adrian, Director General of Haiti's Health Ministry. Food or water contaminated with cholera bacteria can lead to severe diarrhea and dehydration that can be deadly. The United Nations said in a statement that it is working with Haiti's government to mount an emergency response to this potential outbreak, stressing that health teams needed to be guaranteed safe access to areas where cases have been reported. The deaths come as a lack of fuel and ongoing protests shut down the availability of basic services across Haiti, including medical care and clean water, which is key to helping fight cholera and keep patients alive. Haiti's most powerful gang continues to control the entrance to a main fuel terminal in the capital of Port-au-Prince, leading to a lack of fuel amid soaring prices that have unleashed widespread protests that have paralyzed the country for more than 2 weeks. The absence of fuel and increasing number of roadblocks have prevented water trucks from visiting neighborhoods to provide potable water to those who can afford it. It also has prompted some companies to temporarily shut down operations. Now for our last story. A new LIAT is underway with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the government of Antigua and Barbuda and the CFA Global and subsidiary of Caribbean Tourism Group, a private regional company involved in investments in travel, tourism, and aviation. Under the just signed memorandum, CTG and LIAT International will deploy a fleet of small, medium, and large aircrafts, including Airbus A330, Airbus A320, and ATRs in passenger service to the Caribbean and South America, along with international travel routes from Europe. The MOU is in keeping with the commitment from the government of Antigua and Barbuda to ensure the restoration and return of commercial service of regional airline LIAT 2020. Central to the plan is developing international routes that will bring tourists and business persons from Asia and other parts of the world to the Caribbean, using Antigua as a gateway. One of the proposed routes is from Frankfurt, Germany to Antigua, which could become a viable connection for visitors from China now that a visa waiver agreement between China and Antigua is set to be signed. That has brought us to the end of tonight's regional news. Thank you for watching. Back to you, Travis.